How does movement shape a movement? We'll explore the life and legacy of Kathryn Dunham, an influential activist and dancer, and examine her impact in societies today. Kathryn Dunham was born on June 22, 1909 and passed away on May 21, 2006. Not only was her life long, so was her list of achievements. She was raised in Chicago and studied anthropology, which, in case you didn't know, is the study of the origin and development of human societies and cultures. In other words, she studied people from around the world. I bet she would have been great at a networking event. Kathryn's passion for anthropology also showed through her other passion, dance. She merged different cultures and dance styles, which influenced how people viewed the art form. For example, she was well known for fusing ballet, a traditionally Western dance style, with the rhythmic and hypnotic moves of Africa and the Caribbean.
Alongside her dance, Dunham explored the ways in which African people retain key aspects of their heritage. This was in line with the inspiring 1941 work of Melville Herskowitz, whose book, The Myth of the Negro Past, challenged the myth that Africans were savages who lost their culture. It was while studying under Herskowitz that she traveled to places like Trinidad, Jamaica, and Haiti, spending time and immersing herself in their way of life, in which dance was a key force. In these islands, where people had blended styles and cultures, European elements were incorporated in African creativity. Her specific innovation, the Dunham technique, celebrated this harmony. In her work, she shattered the portrayal of voodoo as demonic, revealing it to be redemptive, spiritual, and healing, just as dance inspires performance and creative practitioners today. Some could argue a modern-day example of Kathryn's legacy is Notting Hill Carnival, which started its roots in Trinidad.
In Trinidad, Dunham found the origins of their carnival were rooted in Shango, a religious practice that blends elements of African spiritual traditions, especially Yoruba, with Christianity. Dance is central to Shango rituals, invoking the presence of Orisha spirits and expressing participants' devotion. These dances were also a form of cultural resistance. During the colonial period, enslaved people in Trinidad were banned from dancing or invoking their god through drumming. They had to come up with innovative ways to worship, and so the drum became the steel pan, an instrument recognized in carnivals across the world today. Her experience with Shango would shape her anthropological work and her dance performance. In 1945, Dunham performed Shango, a staged translation of the voodoo ritual. This would include elements from her experience with Yoruba tradition in Trinidad, Dahomey traditions in Haiti, and Santeria in Cuba. Dunham was determined to celebrate what she'd found in the Caribbean throughout the Western world. However, she'd come up against many obstacles and would take a stand against many forms of oppression. In the late 40s, she refused to swap some of her all-black dance company with lighter-skinned dancers. During her time in Brazil, Dunham was refused accommodation in a hotel and publicized this injustice so much that it played a role in the government passing the Alfonso Areno Act, stating racial discrimination in public places was a felony. In 1968, after Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, she created a program for gang members to attend drumming classes to divert the anger into a meaningful cultural practice. At the age of 82, Kathryn led a 47-day hunger strike because the American government refused to give reparations to the Haitian people.
In 1951, a full audience at the Santiago de Chile Opera House watched the premiere of Kathryn Dunham's Southlands, a dramatic ballet Americana about the century-long lynching in the southern states of America. Whilst on stage, Kathryn says, "Though I have not smelled the smell of burning flesh and have never seen a black body swaying from a southern tree, I have felt these things in spirit." She fused the gracefulness and elegance of ballet as an act of resistance, protesting the destructive powers of hatred, giving a voice to many Southern Black Americans at a time when they were censored. Kathryn writes, "This is a story of no actual lynching, and is still the story of every one of them."
As you have heard, Kathryn brought her technique and influences to a European-dominated dance world, whilst being at the forefront of many social movements. Through her fusion of ballet with African and Caribbean styles, she reflected her courage to try something new and showcased both the beauty and struggle present at the time. Even today, Kathryn Dunham's technique, which focuses on the isolation of body parts, prepares budding dancers for a career in the professional world of dance. For example, modern street dance, pop and lock, hazonto and kromping. Notting Hill Carnival is a total encapsulation of Kathryn Dunham's legacy, a response to racial injustice that became a global phenomenon. This can be seen in the dances which fuse different cultures and styles, but also as a modern-day form of resistance against violence. It is a celebration of cultural continuity, passing traditions and keeping African and Caribbean heritage alive. Soca, the music of Carnival, is where East Indies meets the West Indies. Carnival, where sounds clash and cultures combine, everyday people take to the streets in posh West London, where Kelso's heartbeat comes alive, where energies exchange, where Notting Hill Carnival's unsung pioneers, Claudia Jones and Ron Lasley, dance to Russell Henderson's melody and movement, where things keep evolving just as the drum became the pan. So, how can your movement shape a movement?